saw the other side and returned with gifts of insight, visions, and revealed wisdom. Now those gifts are ongoing, and she's here to share them with you. Get ready to be amazed. It's time for Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions Podcast with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, offering up her always fascinating blend of psychic psychology, clairvoyant insights, and expert guests and alternative healing methods. So pull up a chair and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Psychic Solutions Podcast. I am Dr. Linda Salvin. I'm an MPH, PhD in metaphysics. I am not an MD, and don't get that confused just because we say doctor. But the American Medical Association, State of California, says that anybody with a PhD cannot be called doctor. It's in their code since 1937, and I got busted a few weeks ago. So I have to qualify who and what I am as opposed to just saying doctor. So that's why lately I've had to extend my my title so that I don't get fined or put in jail for a year. And that's what their code is, $10,000 fine and a year in jail. And I don't have time, nor do I have the need or want to do that. So here we are. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, as you know, on AM, FM cable, and now on the internet. And I'm here to take your calls as well as introduce you to somebody new that's coming on as a guest. And I've known this man since 1970. We go back to high school days together, and our lives have been back and forth intertwined with different events or organizations and just running into people that we know or somehow, you know, how the universe works in synchronicity. And his name is Rocky Rosen. And yes, his real name is Rocky because he explained, he'll tell you how he kicked his mom in the womb. And so she named him Rocky. But he helps people stop smoking. He has developed a technique that he will explain. So if you're still smoking cigarettes or probably even pot or vaping and you want to stop, this is the man to help you understand what's going on. And he calls himself the cigarette whisperer. So let's bring on Rocky Rosen. Say hello. Hey, Rocky.
Hi. Hey, Linda. How are you, dear?
Good. How are you? Thanks for doing this. Thanks for joining. And
thank you for inviting me.
Hi, yeah. And we go back like 54 years or something or more, 50,
You're
whatever.
Right.
A lot.
We do keep intertwining at different times. Yeah.
We were kids. So
I used to be so much younger.
Yes, and so was I. And you had a long hair at the time too. But no, it looks good. I kind of like the skinhead look. But there's so much to talk about with what you do. And I would love for you to introduce yourself, explain your technique and how you're helping people all over the world, because you are.
Yeah. And this has been a gift of COVID. I mean, look at how you and I are interacting right now. Remember the old days? You had to get to a studio, had to sit.
Yeah.
And now I work with people around the world. What my methodology is, first off, I am a diehard, gotta quit, can't quit, must quit, desperate to quit. I've tried everything there is to quit. I'm desperate to quit. These things are killing me. What the hell do I have to do to get off these things? Kind of smoker. I'll never quit kind of smoker. I spent my whole smoking career, I spent 14 years wishing I could quit smoking because I developed a horrible smoker's cough, which was obvious to everybody.
How much were you smoking a day back then?
Pack and a half a day.
I think my most was 3 packs a day. Go on. But I know that cough. Go on.
And my doctor's saying you don't stop smoking, you won't live to be 40. You'll definitely never see 50. And as you and I know, 50 is about, 18 years away from now? So, no.
Well, on my calendar, I guess I'm older than you. And you were at my 70th birthday party. But go on.
I'm older than you.
How did we get here so fast? How did this happen?
We woke up every morning.
It's true. It's true.
So, that's how it happened. Just wrote a song this week. One of the lyrics is, "I'll never be young again," but that's the way it is. So.
Well, I want to hear that one. Okay.
So my whole methodology getting people smoke free. I'm a personal stop smoking trainer. And first of all, it's not just smoking, it's vaping, it's anything that has to do with nicotine. You mentioned pot and nicotine. I want to talk about that real quick. I'm somebody who firmly believes, for many people, marijuana is medicinal. Marijuana can be recreational. Tobacco is always a poison. There's a huge difference between the two. You can't even smoke the two the same way. So my
No.
whole focus is on the nicotine addiction, not necessarily the marijuana addiction, though I do work with people on substance abuse. My methodology, how I got smoke-free is I spent all these years wishing I could quit, and I kept trying to fight my urges, and I want to ignore my urges. And there are two big lies about stopping smoking people tell themselves. Lie number one, they say, I got to quit. And I ask people, well, how long have you been telling yourself I have to quit? Well, it's been decades, but what do you still do? You still smoke. So please understand, you don't have to stop. You may hate yourself. Your health may suffer. These things can screw you in a way you can never dream about being screwed, but you never have to stop smoking. So I get rid of this tape. I got to quit. I got to quit. I got to quit, because it's just not true. Line number two, we tell ourselves, I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to vape. I don't want to smoke anymore. And that's not true either. The truth about us smokers, and Linda, I don't know how long it's been for you, but maybe on occasion you might get an urge to smoke. Has that ever happened
Once
to
in
you?
a while, I'll answer that. I stopped smoking 23 years ago, finally.
Mm-hmm.
After I started at 14 when we were kids.
I was 12.
Okay. So, we grew up.
Same life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I stopped the first time, I think, after around 20 some odd years, and I started again. But by the time I was done, I think I had smoked a total of 43 years out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, must have been.
How much did you smoke? You said 3 packs a day?
About 2 packs a day. I would just smoke.
2 packs a day?
Yeah.
2 packs?
Yeah.
14,600 cigarettes a year. Multiply that by 24, and we got some big numbers there.
I smoked a lot, especially in college, and especially pulling all-nighters to study for an exam. And then I would smoke an extra pack because I'd be sped up on either pills or coffee or whatever. So it was still that hand-to-mouth thing. To answer your question, I maybe once every blue moon, I'll think like, oh, it'd be nice to have a cigarette. But then I think
that's the point.
Once in a while, it comes back.
That's because we have an addiction.
Yeah.
It's addictive. And just because you want to doesn't mean you have to.
Correct. So I let it pass. I won't go back. I know I won't. I'm the type
I never say that. I never say I'll never smoke again. I just, I don't care if I die smoke free. I just want to live smoke free. I don't want to live my life where I'm never going to smoke. I'm never going to, because I want you to know, look, where are they? I got a pack of cigarettes right here. I always have cigarettes handy. See, most people think I'm going to quit smoking. I can't touch cigarettes. I can't be around cigarettes. You throw them away. And all you do is think about cigarettes. And all you do is think about the convenience.
It's an obsession.
Well, that's what addiction is. It isn't. It's an OCD. It's an obsessive compulsive disorder. I obsess on it. I'm compelled to do it, and my life is out of order because of it. And how do you overcome an OCD? You overcome an OCD with acceptance. Instead of always trying to fight, ignore it, you just recognize you've got this situation going on. And what I like to say, Linda, what I do, it's a 4-day program. It takes 6 hours over 4 days. My first session is always free. It takes about 2 hours. There is no pressure. There is no obligation. By the end of those 2 hours, I'll have a good idea if I'm a good fit for that person or not. And if I can't help somebody, I'm going to be upfront. I'm not the guy for you. I've worked too hard to build the reputation I've got for myself. Then day 2 and 3 are 90 minutes, and day 4 is an hour if somebody's going forward. But what I like to say, what I do is I teach people how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Instead of always being uncomfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
How do you overcome this thing? You see, stopping smoking, stopping vaping is not stopping smoking. And by the way, I consider vaping smoking. People have been saying to me for years, vaping is safer than smoking. I say
it's not. It burns the lungs faster than regular nicotine. Candy and I do a show on Wednesday about this all the time on the Recovery Wednesday
show.
Well,
we should do that because this vaping thing is unfucking believable. But I always say saying vaping is safer than smoking, like saying a heart attack is better than a stroke. Neither is good for you.
Oh, God. Go on.
I don't know. And this is, just like your life is metaphysical and your life is, this is my life.
Yeah, it is, because you love
helping. I've got the greatest job. By the way, I am the hardest phone, but my occupation, I am the hardest phone call for anybody to make. I always say somebody would rather call a really bad dentist than call me, but I promise I'm much more painless. But
Well, a lot of people don't want to call you because of the fear they would have to show up, or that they would have to commit, or it would have to be that they really do want to get some help to stop smoking. I stopped the first time with my mom. She went to some hypnotic training and it stopped. It helped her and my aunt, and I went and I stopped for several years, and then I started smoking again when I was in the plane crash in 81, and I kept smoking. And then I'm the type, if I stop and once I detox and get through the worst of that 8-day change, if I take one drag, I'm okay. But that second leads me to 2 packs of cigarettes. I can't have just one. I can't. It's either all or nothing.
My client stopped smoking with me in 2 days. It's a 4-day program, but it's 2 days after we first speak. And they're not uncomfortable even for an hour. You spent 8 days uncomfortable because I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to.
No. That was just going from hand to mouth. I was done, and I stopped smoking on a Friday, and I was totally clear by Monday. I did some herbs.
Nicotine,
that was
of all drug addictions, kicking nicotine is the most gentle.
The hardest. Yeah.
Is the most gentle kick there is physically. It's not like going through the DTs. It's not like an opiate kicking opiates and going and getting dope sick. The worst thing that's going to happen to a person physically is they might feel uncomfortable a bit, but when they call me, they're already feeling uncomfortable. It's the mental that makes it so anguishing. See, the physical aspect of this addiction, my dog is scratching. The physical aspect of this addiction is somebody's been smoking 30, 40, 50 years, 2-3 packs a day. At any point they stop putting nicotine in their body, within 12 hours, the vast majority of nicotine is out of the body. Within 72 hours, nicotine is not traceable in blood or urine. Just like you said, you stopped on a Friday, by Monday you were well.
Yeah.
Because all the nicotine was out of the body. By the way, you want to know what nicotine is?
I can hear the dog.
If you look up in a dictionary, it's an insecticide. It's a highly toxic insecticide. If somebody took in one hit, like a pack a day smoke, a half pack a day smoke, they took in one hit, the amount of nicotine they'll put in their body in 24 hours, they're dead before they hit the ground. It's one of the most lethal substances on earth. And every time you smoke, or vape, you might as well be spraying hot Raid down your throat for all the good you're doing yourself. But anyway.
My pulmonary specialist had said it takes 18 years after smoking for the lungs to totally regenerate, to go back to normal. So I'm now 23 years. And I remember at the 18-year mark, he congratulated me because my lungs had gone full circle to rehabilitate themselves. And a lot of people don't know that once they stop smoking, it's an 18-year journey to totally heal. You're in and out on your but
you know what? It may be 18 years to totally heal, but the benefits are immediate.
Oh, of course they are, because you can breathe and you're not choking and you're not smelling and you're not looking for a match.
Thousands of dollars a year.
Look, when we were smoking as kids, they were 25, 30 cents a pack, and now they're $10?
Exactly. We could be 8 years old and go to the market, and my mom wants, we could buy cigarettes. A whole different world, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally different. You're in and out of your background. So
I'm sorry, I saw that. I just saw that.
Yeah, so. you're morphing into smoke. You're morphing into smoke. You're disappearing. But when you have patients or clients, people that come to you, how many people stay off the cigarettes through your treatment versus how many may need like a second round or they relapse? Because that's typical in any situation. Nothing.
Since I do that 2 hours with them, since I really give of myself for those 2 hours, we get to really find out if we're a good fit for each other. My success rate is around 85%. We get a year or longer off. My clients know I'm available to them on a 24-hour basis. I don't just work with somebody for 4 days and say goodbye, good luck. I'm there for them on a 24-hour basis if needed. I forgot what the question was, so I'm just kind of rambling at this point.
My one, your success rate. That's all. You answered it about 85%.
But I do have people go back. But you see, my clients and I have a deal. If somebody's going to hire me, then they understand we're going to work together like a team. And by the time we're done, the part of that team is that they promise me, they commit to themselves that they'll speak to me before they light the next cigarette. And if you'll make that commitment, well, I promise I'll be there for you on a 24-hour basis, is what I let them know. And I don't know how I built this thing. I was in the furniture business. I have, so.
But you segued into a passion because you yourself went through it and you have experience in other programs that helped you with other addictions that I think you combined your knowledge, wisdom, hope, and you gave it to someone else with this particular addictive tool, which is a cigarette. And we grew up smoking. It's a whole different generation. They're still smoking, but the vaping and all that. But in our generation, growing up in the 60s, everybody smoked. The 50s and 60s, it was cool to smoke. And then it became not so cool. And then it became a law. You can't smoke in public restaurants. And then you can't really smoke in certain areas.
Everybody's a closet smoker today. It isn't like it was when we were where everybody could smoke out. Everybody's in the closet where they're smoking. That's one. Two, what's also different is elementary school, junior high school kids are vaping in class all day long.
In class?
Uh-huh. You don't know about that? See,
I'm so far removed from that, Rocky.
Okay. So one of the things about Juuls and nicotine replacement units like Juuls, you know how when you see people vape and they expel this huge amount of smoke?
Right.
Well, there are also vapes where there's very little smoke that comes out. And these are kids sitting in class. It looks like they're sucking on a thumb drive and they're covering their mouth and they're just sitting in class nicotining all day long.
So what's the addictive situation there? Are they going to become addicted to this whole?
They already are. They are addicted.
In grammar school. So they're 10. They're 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old.
It can happen. Yeah, it is happening, but it has happened.
So the probability would be that a lot of these kids will go from the vaping to the drinking or to the drugs or whatever. A lot of them are going to.
Well, that's just it. Nicotine is the gateway drug.
Yep.
You talk to all these kind of addicts and alcoholics. And what was the first thing you did? And what was probably a cigarette. And that's 95% of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I remember when
By the way, just so you know, nicotine, Bill Wilson and Bob Smith, who are the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, if you don't know, they knew a lot about addiction, didn't they?
Yes.
Well, they both died from smoking. Bill Wilson died.
Even though they got sober, you're right, though, but they were still sober. They got the alcohol part, but they didn't get the cigarette part.
Exactly. And let me tell you what the difference between drug and alcohol and cigarettes are. You know what nicotine is. Ready? For people who are in recovery from drugs and alcohol, you ask them, what was that day like the day before you got sober? And they're going to tell you a tale of what a really effed up day that was. Right?
Yep.
See, drugs and alcohol are a threefold addiction. It's the physical craving, it's the mental obsession, and the spiritual malady. And that's not a God thing. That's just letting yourself down. And that's where they're at that bottom. Smokers don't have that bottom. They have the physical and they have the mental, but they don't hit a bottom until they're told they've got cancer, until they're told they've had a stroke, until we're going to have to take your left breast off you. Stuff like that. It's not the same bottom. That's what makes it so hard. That's why people think it's easier to stop drinking and drugging than it is to stop smoking, because they're not going to hit that same kind of bottom until it's really too late. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. To me, it does. To the average person, they may not understand what a bottom is. It's our language. It's our way of explaining things through the 12-step program, which we're both a member of, and we talk about on the Wednesday show. I'll have to talk to Candy about bringing you on the Wednesday show as well. But people don't understand what a bottom is. Or then you got those people, whether they're drinking or drugging, I'm never going to do that again. But all weekend, they're out of it. And by Monday, they're hungover. I'm never going to do that again. But they do it again because it's the addiction and it's the cycle and it's the
obsession, it's the compulsion.
But the cigarettes is a little different. You can stop, go, I'm not going to smoke. And then, but the craving is so deep, or that hand to mouth thing, this thing, it's constant.
It's like this magnetic force. that just drags you into a convenience store.
It's
And
different.
that's because they're always trying.
Alcohol.
It's always because they're not willing to feel. If it, what I do takes no more than 1 second, really. At the most, it takes 25 seconds. It takes 6 hours to explain it, but it only takes a few seconds to do it. I always tell my clients, you can give up everything for this one thing, or you can give up this one thing and have everything. It's your call. It's for any addiction, though. You know what I mean?
Depends on the priorities and what they need and what they want. And sometimes, as you know, hiding behind the cigarette smoke, it's a way to hide ourselves and not really be who we are, or we suppress our emotions as soon as there's stress or happiness or joy or depression or rejection or whatever. Right away, you got to smoke, you got to drink, you got to eat, you got to push the emotions down. What you learn when you stop smoking, drinking, eating, whatever your thing is there's no healing without dealing with the feeling. You got to feel the feelings, and stuff comes up when you stop smoking. From the time you started, if you were 12, when you stopped smoking, you probably had memories and emotions come up from those days, right? I mean, your body brings it all, or your mind brings it all up, because we've suppressed it all those years. And I don't think people understand that.
Stopping smoking is not stopping smoking. Stopping smoking is going through a breakup. It's an emotional bond that you have.
It is. That's a good way of saying it.
They are closer to you than any. For those of us who are stuck in that addiction, our tobacco is the closest thing to us. They're there for us when nobody else is. Judge
Except
us.
the dog. Except the dog.
It's stopping smoking is not stopping smoking. Stopping smoking is steeling yourself to go through a divorce. Is steeling yourself to feel the feelings and get through the feelings anyway.
How old were you when you actually stopped smoking?
Last time I smoked a cigarette, I never used the term I quit smoking. Last time I smoked a cigarette was June 17, 1987.
Wow.
Which was after 20, what was that? I started in 64. So that was, what was that? That was 23 years. And 14 of those years just wishing I could quit. Tried everything. Remember Smoke Enders?
Yes, and also
Chic.
Chic, yeah. We had to go and smoke. Yeah, the Chic Center. I remember those days too. I didn't go, but I heard about it.
I did Chic. It was amazing. It was the Clockwork Orange method of stopping smoking. They'd give you a pack of cigarettes. They put a bunch of people in a small room with a bucket, and you have to smoke a pack of before you can come out. You have to smoke this whole pack of Pall Mall Reds, no filter. The bucket is there for us to vomit in, but we can't come out of the room. And so, you're so nicotine saturated. Of course, I don't want to smoke for a week, maybe for a few days. But then the nicotine leaves the body incredibly quickly. It just does. That's why you smoke so much, because you always got to keep trying to bring it back up. And again, all I just want to say is stopping smoking is getting yourself ready to go through a breakup. Stopping
Before
smoking.
we go on to the next page, where can people reach you if they're interested in contacting you, Rocky?
I'm really simple to find. Just Google me. The Cigarette Whisperer is my website, thecigarettewhisperer.com. I'm here to be of service. Linda, I'm having a life I never expected for myself. I'm having the best time of my life I've ever had.
Well, I know you're back in California after being in the Midwest for a while. You came back about 1.5 years ago, and then your career started to take off. And I think you're finally home within yourself. You're doing your music. You've got your career. You got your daughter, your dog, and you finally balanced what you were looking for. We all have that hole inside, and we all try to fill it up, whether it's cigarettes. God's what we need. Spirituality is what we need. And sometimes that's not always enough, because sometimes I get that black hole and it's just like everything's out the window, and then I have to go back and zip it up. But I don't pick up. I don't go for the cigarette. I think it was 2 nights ago. I thought, no. It just went right through my mind.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, do you want to get back together with a bad lover? Do you want to get back together with a bad relationship.
It was just like, no, don't want to go through that again. No, but a lot of people don't know what to do. And yes, society has changed where you can't smoke in public. Remember going to the movies when we were kids, we had ashtrays at the seats. We could smoke in the theater. You could smoke on an airplane. You could smoke in restaurants. It was not a big deal. They had people smoking in the movies. I mean, it was just accepted.
My dentist always had a lit cigarette hanging out of his mouth as he's looking at my nose. Kids will never see the movie. As you remember going to the theater and walking towards the lobby, and you could see the theater, you could see the movie in the smoke. Was like a hologram. Remember that?
Yeah.
Never see that again.
We all would smoke. I mean, it was just accepted. But then, of course, disease and lung cancer and the environmental issues and what happens. The thing
that's coming from a developed brain. Nicotine first is introduced in the teenage years earlier.
Well, look at the kids you're talking about in grade school now. I mean, that's even worse.
And if you remember when you were 14, you started to smoke, you were just going to F around with it.
Yeah, it didn't
going to get me. And that's where it begins.
Yep.
And
I remember my first cigarette was at my junior high school graduation party, and one of the teachers gave us cigarettes.
Yeah, well, we had remember in high school, we had the smoking section too. You can go out and hang out in that quad with the smoking section.
Well, you went to Fairfax, I went to Grant, but we did. I don't think we had that.
I guarantee you, Grant, I went to Hollywood High. And Fairfax.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I remember at Hollywood High there was, and I remember at Fairfax there was. I'm sure there was a Grant.
There must have been. At least we were out in the parking lot. Yeah, we were out in the parking lot, or I'd put it.
We get hooked at a young age. We never thought it was going to happen to me, but it happened.
No, but we also thought we were cool back then.
Well, but it's no different now with these vapes. It is no different now.
That's true.
It's still the 13, 14-year-old mind hanging out with friends, and somebody cracks out some cigarettes or cracks out a vape. We're going to share it and be cool and hip. Next thing you know, you don't care if with your friends or not. You want a cigarette, you want a vape, and bam, you're hooked.
You're off on your own.
Off and
running. A lot of weird things start happening, whether it's with money or your friendships or your sexuality or the drug addiction, and your studies kind of take second place, and socialization takes up. I mean, everybody goes through their tumbleweed. You know, they all fall into the black hole in the abyss until they figure it out. Like you said, they hit a bottom. Hitting bottom is different for everybody. And for those that are listening and don't know what hitting bottom means, it's kind of like saying you've had enough. Help. I need out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is the worst.
I never want to feel this way ever again.
No,
is what
it's enough. It's enough. It's enough.
And talking about sexual pleasures and tobacco and nicotine. See, tobacco, nicotine constricts blood vessels for sexual pleasure, for both for men, for erections, for women, for clitoral stimulation, requires good blood flow. And this stuff really messes with our sexuality too, just so you know, for whatever that's worth.
No, it's worth a lot because it's all related. I mean, it's just like when, I mean, how many times you see it in the movies? I'm not going to talk about personal experience, but you're done and you roll over and have a cigarette.
Yeah, of course. Well, I always tell them, okay, it's just between you and me, right?
Yeah, of course. I won't say a word.
I always tell my clients, I've never seen somebody have an orgasm, smoke a cigarette, and then come again. It just doesn't happen. It's just this Pavlovian. It's just, every time I finish having sex, I'm going to have a cigarette. It just becomes Pavlovian to us.
Yeah.
It's like when I wake up, I'm going to have a cigarette. When I finish a meal, I'm going to have a cigarette. When I step out of my office, I'm going to have a cigarette.
Or if you're on the phone, driving, you get in the car. As soon as I'd sit in the car, I'd light up a cigarette. The ashtrays, when we had ashtrays in the cars, I mean, we were just conditioned. You take the dog for a walk, and you have to have a pack of cigarettes. Or it's just how we lived. But we don't have to live like that today. And the main thing is, if you're healthy and your lungs are clear and you've got more energy, then you can get up and take a walk, or you can think more clearly, or become a little more productive without being distracted. Where are my cigarettes? Where are the matches? Where's the lighter? Do you have a light? Do you have a match? It's that whole wheel of trying to even get it lit. Or do you have enough change? You remember during the old days when they had cigarette machines in the clubs or the restaurants, you had to have enough quarters to, do you have any change? You don't, I only have $1. You had to have 75 cents or whatever it was for the machine. It was always looking, or, I got to get to 7-Eleven. I got to go buy some cigarettes. You got to make a stop.
That's because it becomes the focus of a person's life.
It was the whole focus.
It becomes You see, I always ask my clients, in your life, who or what comes first? And people will tell me my family or my job or God. And I go, no, it isn't. That's not true, because what really comes first in your life are your cigarettes, is your tobacco. Because if your family really came first in your life, would you still be using nicotine? No. If you came first, would you? No, I wouldn't be. I always say cigarettes and vapes are shaped perfectly. They're just little pricks that want to hurt you. You love them. They don't give an F about you.
That's funny.
It's
But you're right.
It's just the truth. Yeah, that's how I ever. You know me personally. We know each other, and I can bullshit as well as anybody else can bullshit. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You're okay. We're on YouTube. It's fine.
Okay, but when it comes to tobacco, I don't lie at all. You know, I'll lay out the truth as I know the truth to be, and I don't mean that to be egotistical, because I am nobody special. I'm in a totally different industry. I just help one person, and then I wind up helping another person. The next thing I know, I'm building something, and I'm getting more joy. As I always say, Linda, I get a bigger thrill delivering people off tobacco than I ever got delivering somebody a sofa. So,
no, it's the same thing with me. When you get that gratification, or somebody says, "Thank you, you really helped me," it's the reward, and it's out of itself. If you get that, yes, we want to decorate our homes, and we love beautiful things, but this is ourselves. And when somebody literally says thank you because you saved their life, you changed their life.
I've gotten those over and over, and
that's what makes you want to keep going.
Exactly. That's the cool thing about what I'm doing. I hate to brag. I make my living out of my bedroom. This since Zoom, it changed since COVID.
Yeah, you can lay back, have background, talk.
And the thing is, when I work with people now and I don't have the physical presence, you get to make your decision whether you want to work with me or not, but we still working face to face. Because look, I mean, that's the thing about this. We are looking right at each other while I'm teaching. And I'm having the best time and the best results doing this too.
I'm glad. Are you writing a book?
I've written a book. Haven't found a publisher yet. Have not self-published. Maybe we can talk about that. It's called Smoke, Vape, Wish You Didn't.
Oh, that's a good title.
Yeah. And I'm just at 71. I've got a great Labrador. I've got like you said, I've got my music, and I've got
everything changed. We go through hills and valleys in life, and it's not a straight line, and we have pain or divorces or breakups and kids and moves and financial issues and health issues and depressions.
And then we return to our basic self.
I think I'm more myself now than I was all along. And I think you're more your true self now, because when you get rid of all the stuff we're hiding behind or suppressing our emotions, there's nothing left but us, and we surrender and we become whole and we become real. And so I don't remember the philosopher's name, but he was quoted that we live life backwards. The older we get, the more wisdom we get, the more settled we get. We get it more as we age. Yeah, I'm 70, you're 71. I mean, it's just like we're not 16-year-old kids anymore.
I'm beginning to understand the phrase "youth is wasted on the young."
My mother used to always say that, and it's in my brain constantly. Like, she was so right. But it could have been her.
I want them to have their youth. I've had mine. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, and in 50 years, they're going to sit back. Boy, that guy was right when he said blah, blah, blah. And they'll remember what you said.
That's it. I always tell my clients, listen, let's imagine you can go back and talk to the kid who's about to smoke their first cigarette or take their first vape. And you could talk to them today. What would you tell them? Oh, don't do it. And what would that kid say to you? That kid would say, F you, mind your own business, old person. I'm just hanging out. It won't get me. And we keep evolving in the new people. The person you were when you first smoked your first cigarette, you're a totally different human being. You have nothing in common with that girl anymore.
Mm-mm.
And we keep evolving in the different beings. And I'm enjoying this evolution right now for me.
I'm glad. You look better than I've seen you look in a long time. I've seen you quite a few times over the years.
I've had a pretty hard time.
Yeah, but you came through it, and you're smiling. But it's like you can see, like, the energy and the aura around you is so much more clear than it's been. You went through a confused moment, like all of us. We get lost out there, and average person thinks life is easy. It's not. It's not easy.
All I had to do is remove one part of my life to have a much better life. And I hate to say this out loud, is I had to do is remove pursuing a woman. I've finally gotten really comfortable with me. Every time I pursued a woman, I always wound up with the wrong person in my life. And I'm done. After my divorce, after 20 years, I just said, that's it. I haven't dated in years. My joke is I'm the straightest guy you ever meet. The only man I'd have sex with is me. But I am done trying to understand women. I just don't get you guys.
Well, we're different. We don't get you guys either. I mean,
as I always say, we may look like the same species, but we're not the same species.
No. There's different needs, wants, desires, emotions, the whole thing. This isn't that show. But at the same time, it is that show because it's still about us and suppressing emotions and hiding who we are and running around. And I mean, Rocky, I can remember, was it your sister that had an apartment near UCLA?
Yeah, I remember. We'll talk about it sometime.
That's how far back I can remember, running around schools and I don't know, movies, whatever.
Linda and I were teenagers together.
We were teenagers.
Back in the 60s, guys, back in the 70s, when it just began.
Yeah.
And all that went with being a teenager back at the late 60s and early 70s.
And then I think I ran into you around one of the meetings, one of the rooms, and I think that's where we kind of started to reconnect over the years. Yeah, somewhere along the line. But if anybody's listening and wants to call in, the lines are open. Hi, Rocky. This is Chris.
Hey, Chris. How are you, man? I know you, Matthew. Hey, Chris.
You want to call in and say hello? The phone number is 561. What is it, Rebel? 623-9421. Matthew, why don't you call in and say hello and ask a question? It'd be nice to have some conversation. 561-623-9421 is the phone number if you'd like to call and speak to Rocky or me. That'd be great. So, we go back. We have some history. We have a lot of past life. It's just life experience, it comes and goes. But talk about some of the music you write, because you've got some really deep lyrics. I know you play piano, and it's also become more of a catharsis for
Linda,
you to release.
I'm having the greatest time. I found Kulak's in July. I go every week. I'm a part of it now.
I'll show up, but it's on a Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday nights.
Yeah.
And I'm writing between 1 to 3 songs a week. I've just written one. I'm right in the middle of writing one today. I just wrote one I sang last night. It's called I Like Me. So I wrote a song called I Like Me. And I'm having the best time meeting some of the most intelligent, talented, incredible people, making incredible friendships out of this place. It's like going to the meeting rooms when you're first.
Right. But now it's all about music. No, I know I've said I'll get down there. It's just my Mondays have been busy with work and things, but I can't.
I always find my music is the closest I get to God as I can. I want to talk about God because you mentioned God before. A lot of people may have a problem with the term God, because I know I did when I
I don't. And I understand it, but I still use the word God.
And I use the term God as always meaning to me good, orderly direction.
Yeah, not religious. I don't look at it as a religious thing at all.
Some guy with a checklist counting all your sins and shit. It's just just trying to live a good, orderly life, and I just want to leave it just a little bit better when I split.
Well, you're making an impact. You're touching people's hearts. You're touching people's health. Without health, you have no life. And if you can help elongate their health from stroke, heart attack, lung disease, or even the mental obsession of having to have the cigarette, the money, everything that goes on with an addiction. You got to make sure you got the money to get to the store to go get the product. And if they don't have that particular brand, or they don't have this, you go crazy. You don't have enough money. It's a whole cycle that we go through.
Get ready to drop your jaw. Okay. On average, cigarettes in LA now are about $11, right?
Yeah.
Just so you know they are. Just so you know, a pack a day smoker is throwing away over $4,000 a year on their tobacco.
Wow. We have a caller. Let's bring the caller on. Who do we have, Rebel? Who's calling in?
Chris. Hello? Matthew.
Oh, hi, Matthew. Welcome.
Hi.
To the show. Good to hear you.
Hey, man, long time no see, Matthew.
Yeah, how you been, Rocky?
I'm having a life. How are you doing?
Doing really well. I haven't seen you. Now I see what you look like in the year 2024. I'm pretty much the same as you see me in my Facebook photos. And I'm just I just returned from taking a walk, and I turned on the show, and there you are. So there you have it.
Well, serendipity. It all comes around. It's good to hear you. Like, you're in Central Coast now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm up in Lompoc these days, and
Oh, okay. I didn't know you moved. Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure for how long.
Yeah, I hope you are.
Try to get back to LA as often as I can. So whenever I go back, everything falls into place. But these days, I'm planning on getting my website started again, and I'm planning on doing some writing, and I'm dabbling with artificial intelligence. So I'm gradually making changes. And you're talking about relationships. We'll let all the women know out there I'm available. I'm single and available.
Well, I think you put it out there, man.
You never know who's going to watch this show, Matt. You never know. I mean, 5 months from now, somebody can download it, and then if anybody wants to meet Matt, you can email me at drlinda@lindasalvin.com, or just go to lindasalvin.com and you'll find my contact information. And if you really want to find out who's on the phone or who's on the show, just email me and I'll get you in touch with these people. And again, if you want to talk to Rocky with regards to stopping smoking or to quit whatever your addiction is when it comes to vaping,
I'm easy to find.
He's at the Cigarette Whisperer. He's in bed online. What?
Okay, well, I'm blessed. I never picked up the smoking habit. I don't have any addiction, so I'm quite lucky in that sense.
Well, if you ever want a cigarette, I got one for you.
Okay.
Do we have
to have sex first?
People could complain about smelling smoke. I go, I smell smoke. I smell money. You know, what can I say?
You know, I'll be honest. There's times. Wait, hold on, Matt. There's times I'll be at the market or I'll be in a parking lot and I see somebody outside smoking. And there's so many times I want to go up and say, I know somebody that can help you stop. But it's not my place to interfere and to
agree.
Say that.
I totally. I'm not. By the way, I'm not anti-smoking. Chris, Matthew, take care, man. I'm not anti-smoking.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you for calling in. It's nice to hear you.
You're welcome. Good talking to you. Have a good day.
I'm the biggest supporter of smokers' rights. I hate the way smokers are treated by society. I hate the way smokers treat themselves. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten between one of these angry people yelling at a smoker for smoking near them, and I will get between them and I'll go, they've heard you. Shut up already. We don't want to become one of these angrier, holier than, as I like to say, an asshole than thou ex-smoker. I always say, love the smoker, hate the cigarettes, but love the smoker. They already feel shitty enough. They don't need you to make them feel even shittier. They're struggling with something, and going through a struggle never helps. Going, well, if you had cancer, would somebody tell you you're an idiot because you have cancer?
It's the same thing. You have a disease, you have an affliction, you've got the OCD. You need it's a disease. You're right. It becomes a physical craving where your body literally needs to have a hit. Mm-hmm. You need to have the nicotine, just like some people need to have alcohol.
You're always. I'm not going to. The more you try to resist it all the time, the bigger the need gets. It's when you go, well,
it's like for you for 14 years trying to make it stop, go away. What are you going to do?
Exactly. I kept getting sick.
What did you finally do? We've got 5 minutes left, Rob. What did you do when you finally got it for you?
Albert Ellis wrote a book called Rational Cognitive Positive Therapy. And it talks about taking something that you look in your life as being something that's a negative to your life. Like I always looked at my urges to smoke as being a negative, and begin to treat them as if they were a positive, and then look at them as a gift, look at them as a part of the healing process. And I spent all these years, and here, I'll play it. I don't know if you'll hear it or not, but this is me. I play piano.
Right.
I always had I started playing in the 80s, and I always have a little cassette tape handy when I play, and I lost those tapes, and I found this about 3 years ago. Let me know if you can hear this one. If you can't, can you hear that at all?
No, it's just
because I always have to. I get fax it. I could send it to you right now, but it's a coughing jag of mine. It goes on for about 20 seconds.
Oh, if it was coughing, I thought it was. Yeah. I was waiting for music. Play that again. Yeah, no, that's your habit.
I'm doing that all the time.
Yeah, let's hear it again.
This is all one long continuous coughing jag. My doctor's saying, Rocky, don't stop. You'll be dead by the time you're 40. You'll never see
the
50.
hacking and the choking and the
And all this, I'm not going to smoke. I'm always trying to quit. I got fuck it. I'm going to quit quitting. I'm going to quit looking.
You're lucky you don't have emphysema. You're lucky.
I have beginning stages of COPD. I have what my doctors describe as a chronic bronchitis. You will hear me cough every now and then. Here's my cough. That's my cough at 71 versus my cough at 33.
Healing has taken place. You will continue to heal. And the longer that you stay healthy and you're helping other people, it's its own reward. One more time, you can reach Rocky Rosen at thecigarettewhisperer.com, people, or if you want to reach out to me to get to him, I can help you do that if you're watching this on the download, which you will, because it'll be on Facebook and 100 different platforms, including YouTube. And Rocky, I'll give you the link to this so you can use it to promote. I would love that.
Can I just say one thing real quick about healing?
Yeah.
And then I'll shut up?
Yeah.
Healing is always uncomfortable, guys, but it's always worth it. It's not healing that becomes terrible. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Say it one more time.
Healing is always uncomfortable, but it's worth it.
There's no healing without dealing with the feeling. We got to go past certain things. Plus, in this day and age, with life moving as fast as it is and the technology, and we're all over the place between, computers and online and TV and phones. I mean, we're so inundated with marketing and ideas. We don't even know who or what's right or real anymore. And that's where you got to stay focused. But in this episode of Psychic Solutions Podcast, people, we're talking to Rocky Rosen, who I've known for 54 years or so. And when we were kids, we were all big smokers. But through the years, Rocky has developed a program to help you stop. If you want to stop because you don't like the way it feels or the way it costs or what it's doing.
Here's the question I always ask. Do you wish you could kick this stuff out of your life already? Not do you want to stop? Because you say, do you want to stop? That's going to be yes and no. Yeah, I do, and no, I don't.
But you want to get it out of your life.
Do you wish you could be free? Do you wish you could be free from this stuff in your life already? I'll do that, whether it be drugs.
Joining me, Rocky. We're out of time. I want you to stay backstage while the ending, the ending goes, and then we'll talk in a second. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. I want to thank Rocky Rosen, the Cigarette Whisperer, for joining me today. You can listen to the podcast anywhere online, and I guess the show will be up in the next 72 hours or so. If you would like a psychic reading, healing, or channeling session, or if you want to learn more about my candle line, The Wicks of Wisdom, contact me at lindasalvin.com. I'll be back tomorrow with Candy Finnegan on Recovery Wednesday, and tomorrow's topic is Don't Quit, 5 minutes for the miracle. I'm Dr. Linda. We'll talk to you real soon. Thanks again, Rebel, for a great time, a great show and production, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions Podcast. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.